When it was totaled, it was parked.
Yes, ma'am. And I had no idea what happened.
The guy in the blue BMW, it's like...
Approximately what time?
I believe my braces appointment is like around 9:40.
In the morning?
Yes, ma'am.
And when had you parked the car?
For my braces tightening, I was at the dentist.
Oh, you were at the dentist?
At the orthodontist, and I was getting my braces tightened. So I had just parked the car at the first meter that I seen available. And as I was getting they taking the wires out, they called me and said, "Hey, what kind of car do you drive?" I said, "An Audi." They said,
Okay, you came outside, and what did you see?
Big commotion. I seen a few cars were hit. I seen some people in tears. I seen my car. That's kind of all I cared about was my car. Someone had to catch me. I was kind of startled. I was like, how did this happen? I ended up seeing police coming towards me. They were like kind of already, I don't know if they were on the scene or they had just arrived when I got out there, and they were asking me questions of what happened. I had no idea what happened.
So you said I had no idea what happened?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a police report?
They told me anything that involves a hit and run, anything that involves any type of collision is required of the parties.
The answer is you don't have a police report.
No.
Do you?
No.
Okay. So you don't know what happened?
No, ma'am.
From the time of the incident?
No, ma'am.
The defendant's car was involved in this accident.
Correct.
Because it had to be an accident. It wasn't done on purpose. And that's why you're suing him.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't have collision on your car? It was all paid off?
It was all paid off, correct.
So I assume you kept your insurance down by not having collision?
Yes, ma'am.
Got it. And now nobody wants to take responsibility, and you've got a parked car that's now totaled.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why we're here.
Yes, ma'am.
So you were involved in this accident, Mr. Chicos?
Chicos, yes.
Okay. Where were you going?
Going to drop my girlfriend back off at home before I left for work.
What kind of car were you driving?
A 2011 Mazda 3.
Tell me what happened.
I looked over my right shoulder. I was getting ready to make a merge into the right-hand lane.
Okay, so you're traveling in the left lane?
Yes.
And how many lanes of traffic are there in your direction? 2. So you were originally traveling in the faster lane on the left. For how long had you been traveling in the faster lane to the left?
Maybe half a mile, quarter mile.
And then you were merging over to make a right turn?
No, just merging over to get in the right-hand lane.
What were you moving over to get into the right-hand lane for?
Because when I get to Beverly and Alvarado, a lot of cars are waiting to make a left-hand turn, which is about maybe a quarter mile from where the accident happened. So just in preparation, I got over so I wouldn't be stuck behind those cars in the light.
Okay, so you make this run all the time?
Correct.
I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're traveling along, you're not making a right turn, but you want to get into the right lane to avoid further up where people get into a left lane.
There's no left lane.
Where the people are making a left turn and there's usually a backup, so you wanted to avoid that and get over.
Correct.
Had the traffic started to slow down already?
No, not yet.
Okay, so you put on your blinker.
Correct.
And then what happened?
I looked over my right-hand shoulder. Behind me, to the right, way back, was a white car. And the blue, I think it was a BMW, the blue BMW was behind me in the fast lane.
Was behind you in the fast lane?
Correct.
Go ahead.
I looked over my right-hand shoulder, turned on my blinker, proceeded to merge lane. And at that point, I'm like, okay, look forward again because there's no one next to me. So I'm looking forward, and out of nowhere, the guy in the blue BMW cuts off the white car and tries to speed past me to pass me up, where it involves like hitting me while I was merging, and then he goes into her parked car.
So the BMW hit her car?
Correct. My car never made contact with hers.
Well, whether you made contact or not, that doesn't mean you're necessarily not at fault, which is, I assume, why I have this screen up here. So let me reiterate what I think your position is. You were dropping off girlfriend, and you're in the left lane, wanting to go into the right lane to avoid something that may come up in the future, since you were familiar with this road. You put on your blinker. All you see in your rear view mirror, looking to your right, is a white car, and you have plenty of time in order to merge over.
Correct.
So you start to go over, and a blue BMW that's behind you moves over faster to that lane, to merge over faster into that lane, hits you. The BMW hits her car, not your car.
Correct.
That's your position. Is that what I'm going to see on the video?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. Yeah, he's right. It's the BMW's fault. Their BMW driver is lucky he wasn't arrested for vehicular homicide. That was just by the grace of God that man in the little blue, it looks like a Volkswagen, wasn't killed.
And later today,
Your daughter was tragically killed in an automobile accident. She had 3 children. Her 3 children are now with you.
Correct.
Did they come to live with you immediately after her death?
done to her vehicle.
He's right, it's the BMW's fault.
I talked to the BMW's insurance and they said they weren't paying out because they said they weren't at fault for the accident and to go out.
Well, I'm telling you, you bring me the BMW, I'll give you your money. That's what it looks like to me. The BMW was clearly behind him. His car had already started to merge over and was halfway into the right lane when the BMW, watch it, see his car's moving over them. The BMW came from behind him. Let's do it again. Absolutely right. You bring me the right person and you get your decision. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't see how we could have avoided this accident. Take a look at it very, very closely. Let's do it one more time. He starts to move over. He's over already. The BMW cut off the white car. Is that what you see, Sarah?
I'm just thinking that person in the little blue car is the luckiest guy alive.
Right.
You see him standing outside his car?
No, I didn't.
You see him
Oh,
opening the
that
door?
one.
That
Oh,
man
yeah.
almost gets absolutely obliterated
Oh,
by
my
that
God.
car.
You know, I didn't see
Sorry,
it.
little distraction, but that's what I was watching.
Just traveling much, much too fast. The blue BMW. Reckless. He almost got killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you will return with that BMW owner, but I have no objection to signing a document that you might want to show the BMW's insurance carrier. Did you also try to sue the BMW?
I didn't try to sue. I was going through my insurance, and they told me to contact his insurance. I called them, and I told them I had another witness, too. And they're like, we weren't aware there was another witness. We knew that there was a video, and that was the last I heard of them. And then next thing I heard was she was taking me to court.
Why did you choose him instead of the BMW?
Well, I went after both of them. I looked at the video multiple times and it just looked like he was more so at fault, but I did go after the BMW's insurance and the insurance told me that they weren't going to pay out because one, he had limited insurance and it wouldn't cover the damages as to how much my vehicle had. And second of all, they told me that they seen that Steven Psychos was at fault and I had to go after him.
No. Their BMW driver is lucky he wasn't arrested for vehicular homicide. That was just by the grace of God that man in the little blue, it looks like a Volkswagen, wasn't killed. So you bring me the right person, I'm more than happy to give you a judgment. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
That's it. This case is dismissed.
This court is adjourned.
I've been watching her since I was a little kid, so I knew she was coming out with the right decision.
Guess I got the right person, right?
It just came out of nowhere, the crash. I didn't even see him coming.
I see it as that both of they butts are at fault.
Time to go after that driver.
I guess I'll really try to go after the BMW's insurance much harder or take them to court.
If I were this plaintiff, I would have sued both of them. I don't know which one of you is at fault, so I'm going to sue both of you. I know one thing. My car was parked, and I was getting my braces fixed. So it wasn't me. There was no question that BMW was speeding, driving recklessly. There was no way that the defendant could have avoided this mishap because he was just speeding so recklessly.
I think you gave her a good lesson. She seemed like the type that would take that advice and move on it. And so I think she would be in her best interest to
come back. And I would love to see him
Me too.
speeding down a street where he almost killed somebody.
We'll give him a good lesson.
Yes.
Case number 3013, Toole versus Messenger. All parties, please step forward.
Cheryl Toole is suing her former daughter-in-law, Ariel Messenger, for benefit money raised for her grandchildren.
Ms. Toole, this is your former daughter-in-law.
They were never married.
Okay. They were together for how long? Because you identify her in your complaint as my ex-daughter-in-law. And how long has Miss Messenger been separated from your son?
Probably 5-6 years.
And in December of last year, you have a daughter. Your daughter was tragically killed in an automobile accident. She had 3 children. Her 3 children are now with you.
Correct.
Did they come to live with you immediately after her death? According to your complaint, the defendant was touched by this tragedy. You don't say that, but that's what it appears, and decided to hold a fundraiser for the 3 children. What kind of fundraiser did you decide to hold for the 3 children?
I did a spaghetti dinner
Where?
at a bar that I work at.
Did the bar donate any part of the...
Their space.
They donated their space?
Right. My boss allowed me to have it.
And tell me how it worked. People came for a spaghetti dinner. Dinner was so much, and anything over that dinner went to the fund for the children?
Correct. All of it went to the fund. They would come in if they wanted to purchase a meal. They would get a ticket. Then they would go and grab the meal. And we had bake sale, also had raffles and stuff like that.
So there was an entrance fee to get in?
Basically, yes.
Not basically. Was there an entrance fee to get in?
There was not. You paid for a spaghetti dinner.
And how much was that?
It was $15. You got it to go back.
Who provided the dinner is what I'm trying to do.
I had people donate the food.
And that was the only fundraiser you had?
Correct.
This is what the case is about. The case is about the fact that, put your hand down, that she says $1,800 was raised at that dinner. You don't seem to deny that $1,800 was raised for the benefit of the children. The plaintiff has custody of the children. She says you should turn that money over to her. And your position is that I'm waiting for Social Security numbers for the children so that I can open up accounts for the children.
Correct.
Okay, that's your position.
Correct.
Okay, how much planning did you have to do for this dinner?
We served it.
Who set it up?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so if you're not sure, she says she set it up. So the defendant set it up. Did you have any conversation with the defendant prior to the event, which I assume you attended?
Yes, I did attend it.
For the whole thing?
I had to leave at 9 because I had to take the children out of the bar.
Okay. What time did it start?
7 or 8.
So you were there for an hour?
No, we were there. We went and got where we were serving it set up too.
Oh, okay. So you were there until 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Mention to me as to why you think she has to give you that money.
Okay, first of all, the benefit, I had no idea until the day before the benefit. She did not ask me,
No, just a second.
did not include me.
She doesn't have to.
Okay, but...
Okay, she doesn't have to ask you. She doesn't have to include you. It would be nice, but she doesn't have to ask you. She doesn't have to include you. Okay? And what was the date of this event, by the way?
The 9th.
The 9th of?
December.
And when was the accident with your daughter?
December 3rd.
So it was relatively quickly after that.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to get back to why you think that you have a position, a legal position, where she has to turn that money over to you.
Okay, I have interim custody of the children. There's expenses. My daughter's apartment had to be emptied. I had to put her stuff in storage. I'm not physically able to be moving their belongings into our house that we just got for the 3 children and myself. I not only had to empty the apartment, get it in storage.
So what you're telling me is that you had expenses.
Yes, I have.
That's not a reason that she's got to give you money she raised for the benefit of the children.
But the benefit stated there was a flyer put out for Brandy Hoteling to help her lay at rest and her 3 children. It never said about accounts. I have opened, when this happened and the kids come with me, I opened accounts for the kids. I went to my credit union to see if I could open accounts.
That's a good idea.
If I could open accounts that they couldn't touch, nobody could till they were 18. I couldn't because of them being minors. They had to go under my name, but they're in their own accounts. I have that on my phone that I can show you.
It's nice that you have accounts for them.
But I feel that if you're going to do a benefit, that's wonderful that you would do something like that. But do what you say you're going to do in the benefit.
That's what she says she wants to do. She said she needs the children's Social Security number so that she can open up an account. You can have accounts under Uniform Gift to Minors Act in every bank, in every financial institution that are in your name for the benefit of a child, which is what you can do. I know I have 13 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild, and I have accounts for all of them, okay? But I have a brother. And if my brother said, I want to open up accounts for your grandchildren, and I said to him, well, give me the money because I have the account already. He'd say, no, I want to be in charge of those accounts. It's what I want. I got the money, but I want it for the benefit of the children. And what I'm telling you is she can open up the accounts for the benefit of the children just as well as you can. Just because you have expenses, Miss Toole, that's not what this benefit was for. In her mind, she ran the benefit. And you said you had nothing to do with it. She ran the benefit for the benefit of the children. And what she's supposed to do is open up accounts for the benefit of the children. Did you go to the bank and say to the bank, I want to open up accounts for the benefit of the children? And did the bank advise you that you needed any particular document?
Yes.
What document?
Some form of social security numbers, because again, I wanted to be the primary person to where she couldn't have access to it.
Okay. Where do you come from? What jurisdiction?
Toledo, Ohio.
And how did you get here today? By plane?
On plane, yes.
And there was certain expenses and fees that you would be receiving for traveling to do your case here.
Correct.
We're going to hold those fees. And I see that I'm not going to get any cooperation from Ms. Toole, even though I've told her that she can give you the kid's social security number so that you can open up these accounts for the benefit of the children. That's her prerogative. But you can go to the bank and get savings bonds for the children, and you don't need their social security number.
Okay.
All you need are bonds in their name. What I'm telling you, Ms. Toole, if she had their social security number, that money would be growing interest. So at a certain point, they'll be able to cash in these bonds and have a little spending money when they either go away to college or start a job or are looking for an apartment or something. I assume that you get some sort of benefit for the children.
No, I do not yet.
Okay. Was their mother a working person?
Yes, she was.
Well, if she's a working person, and then the children are entitled to Social Security benefits. Was she a working person all of her life?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, if she was a working person all of her life, she was entitled to Social Security. And if a person who was entitled to Social Security dies, minor children are entitled to Social Security. Did anybody tell you that?
They did tell me that, but
Okay, so why
works of custody. They couldn't do it until that was established.
Well, no, they could do it.
That's what I was told.
Well,
and I went down there.
who are you arguing with over custody?
Nobody. The fathers want them to stay together because they've been through enough tragedy. And so I'm not arguing with them.
Are the fathers contributing to their support?
The one said he has been, but it's just sitting there. He said, do you know what's going on? I said, everything's at a standstill till June 7th.
Oh, so it's going to be resolved relatively quickly?
Yes.
Okay, good. What I said to you is if she had their Social Security number, she could put it in an account that may bear some interest for them. If she does bonds, they have to wait until they're 21 years old. It's a relatively short period of time.
I can do bonds, that's fine.
You
It wasn't weird.
can, I don't know if they're long enough.
Right.
What's your objection to giving her their Social Security number?
Because, for one thing, she's not financially stable. She has ran bills up on a family member.
Okay, so you would prefer that she buy a bond?
Yeah.
A 7-year bond?
But also, what about the help with the daughter? I mean, it's right there on the flyer.
You mean for your daughter who's deceased?
Yes.
She can't help her, Mrs. Tooley. She can't help her.
So that was false on
No,
the
she
flyer?
can't help. She can't help her.
Right,
She can't help her.
Right.
And so her and the children. And if you're not going to allow her to have their Social Security number so she can put it in an account, she is going to buy U.S. bonds for the children in the children's names, and my clerk in the back will hold everything until we receive proof that those bonds have been purchased in the children's names. Hold on to them until the children are 18, and then you can give it to them.
Okay.
Because you can't cash them in anyway.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
This case is over. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Court is adjourned.
It's awesome that somebody would want to take that opportunity to do that to help somebody.
I'm happy. They'll have their bonds and everything will be taken care of.
But when they don't use the fundraiser for what it said, I feel they're cheating the people that did it.
You know, the date, the timing of this was really super important. This tragedy occurred, and within 3 or 4 days, this event was put together, and it was put together, I'm sure, out of adrenaline. What can we do? And the flyer said it was for the benefit of her deceased daughter, which, of course, there can't be any benefit to the deceased daughter. the benefit has to be to the C-Star's memory through giving the kids an extra couple of bucks. And you're talking about really $550 or $600 for each of the 3 children. But at the point, that $600 will be important. So they'll have a bond, it'll mature into, I don't know, $800 in 5 years. Not the you keep posting stuff about her.
She was going to expose nude photos of me. This is her saying that she wanted to fight me.
Leave her alone.
Okay, so
This is not a so. Viddy.
he is currently incarcerated, Your Honor,
Where?
in a state correctional institution in Florida.
When did he go into jail?
He was arrested in September of 2022.
Has he been incarcerated since?
Yes, ma'am.
You have 3 children with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
How old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
20.
Yes, ma'am.
How old are your children?
I actually have 4 in total. I have a 5-year-old who turns 6 in December. I have a 3-year-old who turns 4 in August, a 2-year-old who turns 3 in August, and a newborn, 2 weeks old, ma'am.
Who do you live with?
I live by myself.
The only connection that you have with the plaintiff is that you have one child with her husband,
Yes.
who is how old?
He's about to be 5 in the end of July.
Now, this is your complaint. Many of these things at least start in 2022, and it is your claim that Miss Bigelow, who has one child with your husband, embarked on a course of conduct that can clearly be described as harassment, defamation, which you're going to present to me, and the allegations were serious enough, and this is back in 2022, I would assume, that you filed an application for a protective order.
It was in 2021 that I had filed the protective order.
What month?
It was, I believe, March.
Did you have a trial on that protective order?
There was no trial. There was enough evidence present.
No. There was no trial.
No, ma'am.
Were you present when the protective order was granted? And you consented to it?
Yes.
Okay. So you consented to the plaintiff having a protective order indicating that for 12 months, and hopefully for the rest of your life, you would not assault, menace, threaten, or harass her.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And according to what I've read, that was in effect until March of 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
While the protective order was in effect, there was a violation of that protective order.
Correct, Your Honor.
What month?
It was in the month of March 15th,
Of 2022 or 2021?
2021, Your Honor.
Was there a hearing on the violation of the protective order?
Yes, there was, and I believe at that time, probation temporarily was given to Miss Bigelow.
Is that correct, Ms. Bigelow?
Yes, ma'am. Administrative probation.
And all of the events that are the subject of your petition happened between 2021 and 2022.
This has actually been going on far longer than that, and
Have any of the acts that Ms. Bigelow were prevented from doing as a result of the protective order occurred after the protective order expired in March of 2022?
Yes, ma'am, I can provide evidence.
That's what I want to see. So now we have Ms. Bigelow, who is on notice. She consented to a protective order because she knew that the evidence would be clear that you were entitled to it. Otherwise, nobody consents to it. So she consented to that order, which means you either assaulted, menaced, threatened, or harassed her. I assume it was a course of harassment. Then you violated that order and you got a period of probation. Okay. Now I'm hearing evidence of acts that occurred after the protective order. I'm just hearing it. After the protective order expired in March of 2022.
Yes.
Correct? You want to tell me when the first incident was?
The first incident was when we had me and my husband on TikTok. There's an algorithm that shows random videos, and she popped up on his For You page, and it was a post about her mother. And so she was living with her mother at the time, and he sent it to her mother.
Your husband did?
Yes.
I only want to know things that had to do with you.
Okay. So I was arrested after my husband got arrested. They tried to charge me.
Just a second. You were arrested in what month?
It was in October, ma'am.
Of what year?
2022.
You were arrested for what?
They tried to claim that I was trafficking drugs.
That's what your husband is in jail for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what did that have to do with her?
It doesn't.
Well, then it doesn't. It doesn't.
She had made posts about me going to jail.
Can I see them?
Yes, ma'am.
This doesn't say anything that is defamatory. I want to know what you meant is she's already lost custody of her children enough times. I'm hoping one day I might be able to gain custody of my son's 2 daughters. What is that?
Okay, so Haley Chapman claimed that she had no understanding of the drugs being in the home when she was found guilty.
What is my son's 2 daughters? Do you mean your boyfriend's?
No, her children. She religiously lost custody of her children.
No. I understand that. I don't understand this sentence. You wrote, she has already lost custody of her children enough times. I am hoping one day I might be able to gain custody of my son's 2 daughters.
Oh, sorry, not daughters, but sisters. I apologize.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Your Honor, I actually...
Just a second. So far, it's not defamatory.
I have my order for reunification. I've only lost my children one time.
Doesn't matter. Put a look at it. So far, I don't see anything defamatory. If she wrote that you were arrested and you were arrested, that's not defamatory.
I did suffer anxiety
What?
and depression because of this whole situation.
No, you suffer from anxiety, depression if you do because you were 15 years old when you had a baby and then you had 4 more children, you're 20 years old and your husband's in jail. That would put any normal person in a situation of depression. Still breaking that. There's something wrong with you. You understand that?
Yes.
You understand that this is all coming from a very stupid place, a very stupid brain that you have absolutely nothing to do with except that you were mad at this guy, at this prize that's sitting in jail for drugs. And so, yeah. Don't tell me that you were trying to be altruistic. I don't believe it.
No, that's not it. Actually, her husband assaulted me. I was a child and he was an adult for 1.5 years of my childhood. My son is a product of rape.
You don't get me. That has nothing to do with her.
She has shown up at my house.
Just a second. That has...
Okay.
Okay, so she sent a picture of your mugshot, which is also not illegal, and said that you were arrested and charged with trafficking in fentanyl, which you were, right? Which you were. Those charges were subsequently dismissed?
No, ma'am. I was granted pretrial diversion because they didn't have the evidence that they needed to actually...
That's not what I asked you. You were arrested.
Yes, ma'am.
This is your mugshot. Mm-hmm. And you were arrested for drugs.
Correct.
So she didn't print anything that wasn't true. You were arrested. I'm not saying that what you did was right. I'm saying what you did was stupid, pointless, and just out of nothing but jealousy. Nothing. She certainly doesn't care about your children. Okay. So far, what you showed me, nasty, but not actionable because it's true. What's next?
I have the TikTok that she posted of her claim that she was sexually assaulted by my husband, which backfired on me as well. I had to shut down.
That's what she says. That has nothing to do with you.
Well, an onslaught of people came and harassed me because of her post.
I don't know that at all. And if they harassed you, that's their problem. But I'll take a look at what you want me to look at. But if she accused your husband of a crime of raping her, and she said it's your bad judgment to be with him, and now I assume you have 4 children with him?
3, Your Honor.
3, and 1 with somebody else?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. Sounds terrific. 20 years old. Sounds like we're going in the right direction here for a joyous life. Oh. What do you do for a living?
Bartender.
How many children do you have?
1.
Who do you live with?
Myself, but I'm currently moving.
Moving where?
South Carolina.
With whom?
My son and I.
Why?
To leave Florida.
Why? Why South Carolina? You just
I want to go to college for underwater welding, and they don't offer that program where I live currently.
Who are you going with?
Just by myself.
Who lives in South Carolina?
Nobody.
Do you have a place to live?
Yes.
Who's paying for it?
Me.
From what?
My job. I've been saving over the last 2 years.
How much money do you have in the bank?
I have $180,000.
Oh. Okay. All nasty, stupid, it's not actionable. What else?
I have here that she told me to hurt myself and that she was going to expose nude photos of me.
I'd like to see that.
I also have here her saying that she wanted to throw bed bugs in my yard and on me.
This is all stupid stuff, but nasty and stupid and vicious. And I must add, illiterate. So I hope you're going to a very good school, wherever you're going. First, they should teach you literacy. What's next?
I did suffer chronic post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression because of this whole situation.
No, you suffer from anxiety, depression if you do, because you were 15 years old when you had a baby, and then you had 4 more children, you're 20 years old, and your husband's in jail. That would put any normal person in a situation of depression.
I do have proof, Your Honor.
You don't have proof.
It's from my psychiatrist.
If your psychiatrist was here and you wish to waive it, I'll be more than happy to listen to your psychiatrist. It's what you told your psychiatrist. I'm telling you, I don't have to be a psychiatrist. Somebody who's 20 years old and has 4 children, all under the age of 5, and whose husband is incarcerated for the last year and a half, and has 1 child in between that's not his, that's a reason to be depressed. There's a reason to be depressed. Her nagging you because she's stupid and jealous is nasty, but not anywhere as nasty as your husband getting arrested, going to jail, leaving his 3 children and his wife alone to fend for themselves. And if he was incarcerated for drugs, making them, dealing with them, and you were living together, it's kind of hard for me to imagine that you wouldn't have some suspicion of what he was doing for a living. Do you understand what I mean? That would cause me situational depression. And there is only one way to deal with your situational depression, which is to get your life in order.
Currently, I am a nursing student and I have a year left.
Is it a building that you go to?
Yes, ma'am. I restart in September of this year.
You start, or you started last year?
I started and then I took a break and then I go back in September.
When did you take a break?
From August of last year up until September, this upcoming September.
And now you're going back in September?
Yes.
And what have you been doing in between, aside having a baby?
In between then, I've just been working. I have 2 jobs.
Where are your children?
My children are actually with my friend at the hotel.
All 4 of them?
2 of them, Your Honor.
Where are the rest of them?
One is staying with my mother-in-law, and my son is in summer camp.
Which one is with your mother-in-law?
One of my daughters that I have with my husband.
And how old is the child who's in summer camp?
He's 5.
Is he in sleepaway summer camp?
No.
Well, who does he live with?
He lives with me.
Who's taking care of him now?
Right now, his grandpa.
His grandfather?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your father?
It is my son's dad's father.
Distress.
All right, you have anything else you want to show me so far? This is a bunch of nonsense. It's not
Yes,
nonsense,
ma'am.
it's just very unfortunate.
This is her saying that she wanted to fight me.
I don't care about wanting to fight you. You didn't fight with her, right?
No.
And she didn't come to fight you, and she didn't hit you, right? All right, we're done. Let's see, money owed for emotional distress caused by leaking photos. All right.
Haley Chapman posted child pornography of me via Facebook.
When?
September of 2018. Also, her and her husband were under investigation for extortion of child pornography, threatening that if I did not fight them, they would release the video of him sexually assaulting me while I was pregnant.
I would like to see where she, not he, where she sent you something that you consider harassment.
Okay, she has shown up to my house on...
No, she, listen to me carefully, she sent you an extortion letter. I want to see where she did, not her husband.
The police took the iPod with the original conversation because it involved child pornography.
If I don't have it, I don't have it.
Okay, that's understandable.
Do you have it? The answer is yes or no.
No, not the original conversation.
Ms. Chapman, I told you my best long and short-term advice to you. You are articulate, nice looking, young, whole life ahead of you. It depends upon where you want to hang your hopes. And if you hang it with somebody who's incarcerated, that's ridiculous. He's not coming out to you anyway. You have a new father for your baby. Do you live with that person? Do you live with that person? Who do you live with?
I live alone.
Oh, God.
I also have the times that she made fictitious DCF calls against me and messages of her admitting that she called DCF on me because I wouldn't fight her.
Because you wouldn't fight her?
Yes.
I would like to actually take a look at those. Not that you're going to get a penny from her. You understand that?
Yep.
You understand why?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. And by the way, you know, I understand that you say that there was an abusive sexual relationship between you and her husband, who was the father of your child.
Yes, ma'am.
You did, in fact, allow him to see the child regularly. Is
No,
that
ma'am.
no?
No.
You mean he's never seen his son?
Actually, no, incorrect. When my son was first born, he was 6 hours late. He came in, he said hello, and other than that, he was not permitted to be around the child.
So he never came to your house and never saw him from the time the child was born until the time he went into jail. Is that correct?
The only time that he did see my son was when she came to my house in June of 2022 when he was parked outside the house and my son had come outside. Other than that, he has not been around my child.
Yeah, well, you're Haley on this, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. She's angry at you, right? She's angry at you because you won't stop. You keep posting stuff about her, about her husband, about the kids, whatever. It's all because...
There were multiple reasons as to why I was upset with her. There were on 3 different occasions when the restraining order was put in place, claiming that I violated when I did not. I was only...
Just a second.
Okay.
There was a final order of protection and a finding that you violated that final order of protection, and all this stuff was harassing, nasty, unfortunately not defamatory, but clearly annoying. And she finally said, I've had enough. You have no case. You have no case, and you're just lucky I'm not awarding her any money because nothing that you posted about her was not true. She was, in fact, arrested. I assume that you were, in fact, a minor when you became pregnant and the father of your child was an adult. I assume all those things are true. Listen to me. If you saved $180,000, which is a lot of money to be able to save over a couple of years bartending, which is to your credit, and if what you're going to do is try to start a new life, good for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good for you. Put your time to better use. Leave her alone. She's got enough troubles just negotiating life at age 20 with 4 children. Leave her alone.
Okay, so...
This is not a so. This is a period. The end. Goodbye.
This court is adjourned.
I believe that she gave me some really good life advice and was able to hopefully open the defendant's eyes as to the problems that she's been causing.
She threatened me, threatened my friends, made fictitious DCF reports against me.
Things just mellow out and she decides not to...
Time to get out of Florida.
...defame me or harass me anymore.
That case reminded me of my family court days, Sarah. Here's this guy who was an adult. She was 15 when her first child was born, 14 when she got pregnant. And I don't understand why that guy's not in jail.
For something other than drugs.
For something other than drugs. Except she probably...
He married her and then had 3 more children.
I'm not sure when he married her, but in between there, in the beginning, he had a child with the defendant. And I think that the plaintiff and defendant sort of knew each other. But there are now 5 children, all with mothers, single mothers, who are unsettled And there's no question, one's living with a grandparent, one's staying here, one back with a friend in a hotel room. It's just so sad for these children. I don't know how to convince generations of young people that you're not supposed to have children, that you're not emotionally and financially and equipped to take care of. Just do that.
And it makes every step of her getting her life back on track at 20 as a child herself all the more difficult with 4 kids in tow. So not only, you know, how sad it is for the children, but she's a child herself that should be able to get her life back on track.
It would be wonderful. She, you know, both seem to be articulate people. Of course, they can't write, but maybe it's just the way they write when they write text.
Twitter fingers, you know.
Yeah, Twitter, but it looks illiterate to me. Maybe I'm just from the wrong generation. That's possible. But it's just sad for those 5 kids. She sent the video to your employer.
5, Perez versus Boeing.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Interesting. Ms. Perez, you met Mr. Bowen at a truck stop. Tell me when that was and how that happened.
In January, and we both work there.
January of this year, 2020,
last year.
2022.
Yes.
And you began dating, and you at some point moved into his home?
I was staying there helping with his kids.
You were staying there?
Yes, I still had my own home.
So you were staying there. Were you there 5 days a week, 7 days a week?
The whole 2 months.
Okay, so you were living there for 2 months. Who was living in your house?
Nobody.
I assume you weren't just staying there to take care of his kids, that the two of you were a couple during that 2-month period. This is what your case is about. During that period of time, Mr. Bowen had physical custody full-time of his children. 2 children?
Correct, Your Honor.
And how long had you had custody of them?
I've had custody of them since 2020.
So since they were infants?
Pretty much, yes.
Did you then have court-ordered legal custody?
Yes, ma'am.
There came a time while you were living together, according to the complaint that I read, that the mother came back into the picture and was seeking custody of the children.
Correct.
And Mr. Bowen needed an attorney.
Yes.
It is your claim that you loaned him $2,000 for an attorney.
Yes.
Things didn't work out between the two of you, and you left, and it was an unpleasant parting. It was not an amicable parting. That be a fair statement?
Fair.
Fair statement?
For a while, we remained friends after that, too, though.
Well, his counterclaim is going to challenge that.
Right.
Anyway, you want your $2,000 back.
Yes.
I don't know what Mr. Bowen says about the $2,000. Maybe that you gave it to him as a gift. He's going to tell me, but he's got a counterclaim. His counterclaim is that you got so angry with him that in a thoroughly vindictive way, you sent a video to his place of employment, which caused him to be fired.
Correct.
And that in addition, you aligned yourself with the mother of his children who was seeking custody of the children.
2 mothers.
2 mothers. They're 2.
Yes, 2 different mothers. Yeah.
You've been busy.
Yeah.
You aligned yourself with those people and created serious difficulty for him by sharing not only the video with them, but also some photographs of him with a BB gun.
Correct, ma'am.
Do you still have custody of the children?
She filed an ex parte order, which plaintiff had help in, and I lost the kids in January, and then I got them back in February, and then we just finally got through the court paperwork to where I have them full-time again. The judge still has to finalize them.
So what you're telling me is that in January on an ex parte application, ex parte, that means just the mothers went in themselves, some judge transferred custody without a hearing?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And they originally set it out for 8 months to where I would even be seen.
It used to get me so frustrated, but
it was a tough time.
It was a tough time. Actually outrageous.
Yeah.
And then the children came back to you.
Yeah, actually in February 12th, the mother kind of, I can't do this by myself. And she brought them back, and then I've had them since then the whole time. And we just did last week finalize the paperwork, so we're just waiting.
All right, let's deal with this $2,000 legal fee. Mr. Bowen, did Ms. Perez give you $2,000?
Yes, ma'am, she did.
Okay, tell me the circumstances surrounding her giving you $2,000.
Okay, so in June, one of the mothers of my children wanted to take the custody of the kids back.
Not both children, one.
Well, this was one, and then I have another kid. They got involved, and she did an ex parte order using the exact same paperwork, word for word. Everything was the same. Pretty much copy and pasted one to the other.
You get going into too much information for me. I like this all linear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? June 2022.
We were looking for an attorney. She actually was going to give me $7,000 for an attorney that her mother had used, but I was like, that's way too much, so let's try to find something cheaper, and that's where we found somebody.
Well, this is a we. This is
me and
really
her.
your problem.
Right.
This is really your problem. I want to know how she got involved with giving you money.
I'll give you the money, no problem. Here, do you want $7,000 for this lawyer in Bakersfield that my mother used, who I know is a rock star? And I said, no, let's find something else, a little bit localer. And I found the one in Lancaster for $3,500.
And did you go to the attorney in Lancaster?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go with her or alone?
I went by myself.
Did you ask her if she wanted to go with you?
No.
Okay, so you went by yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you went to the lawyer, you got a fee, you were quoted a fee?
Yes, $3,500.
When you were at the office, that would be in June.
Yes.
And when you got that quote and you liked that lawyer,
yes,
then I assume you went home to where Ms. Perez was taking care of your children.
Yes, ma'am.
Which she was doing, by the way.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
You weren't paying her anything.
No, not at all.
And she was still paying for her own house, where she maintained another resident.
Yes. She was there because her children went to another state for the summer. So she just stayed with me while the kids were gone for summer. And then
She stayed with you for a reason. She didn't stay with you. I assume you don't live at a lake.
No.
No. Well, you don't live at the beach, right?
I wish, but no.
No, but you don't live at the beach. So now you've got a lawyer's quote for $3,500. You go home to Ms. Perez and you say, dear, I like this lawyer. He only charges $3,500. Is that something like the conversation?
Something like that, yes.
Something like that. Now I want to hear where the $2,000 came from. I want you to think and focus. Look at me, and that requires I owed her 4 lamb chops she bought. I owed her for a plumber she paid for, or I owed her for a
lawyer fee.
Perfect.
And slander.
Now I want to hear where the $2,000 came from.
I had...
No. I said, dear, I like this lawyer. He's only $3,500.
She says, here's $2,000 and I have $1,500, and we made it happen.
Okay, here's $2,000.
Yep, yes.
And you said, I have $1,500.
Correct.
Well, you must have said, I have $1,500 first.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
You must have said his fee is $3,500. I have $1,500 because otherwise she wouldn't have known to say he has $2,000.
Correct.
Right?
Your Honor.
So let's try to get it right.
Yes, Your Honor.
You went home and you said, dear.
I have $1,500. The lawyer's $2,000.
And
we need to make it happen. I need to make it happen.
Were those your words? I need to make it happen? No. I want you to think about it. Don't pull information out of an orifice. Just, if you don't remember, say, I don't remember exactly what I said.
I don't remember exactly what was said.
Okay, you don't remember.
Correct.
Do you remember exactly how it happened? Voila. Love it. Okie dokie. Go.
He needed $3,500 and I would only give him $2,000 because I didn't have any more.
I want to hear the conversation.
Okay, he said it was $35. I said that I could.
No, he came home from the lawyer.
Came home.
And you must have said what happened or I want to
He
hear the
actually had
conversation.
talked to them on the phone and they quoted him that price.
Okay.
He needed the money to go over there. So.
Oh, that's a different story.
Yes.
You see, she remembers. Perfect. So he spoke to the lawyer on the phone.
Yes.
Tell me.
He said that it was $3,500. All I was able to help with, I was off work at the time, so I used my savings. I said I could help him.
I know that you gave him the $2,000. I want to hear how it came about.
I told him that I would need help when my bills came due, that I would help him with the money, but I was not working, that he would have to help me with my bills, and he agreed to that, so I wired the money bank to bank.
To the lawyer's bank or to his
No,
bank?
to Mr. Bowen's account, because we have the same
And
bank.
what was said exactly was, you'll have to help me out with my bills when they come.
Yes.
And?
He agreed to that.
Okay.
I wired the money, he went, he took care of everything, and then my bills started to become due. He said he didn't have any money.
Bills? Like what bills?
My mortgage, my electric, my gas.
Okay, and you were still living together?
I was still staying in there, yes.
Yes. In what month? July?
Till the end of June.
Well, when did this transaction take place?
June 6th.
So just a couple of weeks later?
Yes.
Well, where did you expect him to get you $2,000 from?
He was supposed to, as he got.
Well, right now you don't have a contract for him. It wasn't a loan. Right now what I'm hearing, which is why I asked for the exact terminology, is saying to him, you'll have to help me out with my bills when they come in, is not a loan.
I also have a bunch of text messages asking and him saying right now, I know I owe you money.
Then I'd like to see
Yes.
those. These machines can either be a curse or a godsend. Okay, yeah, it doesn't change my position that there has to be a clear contract if there's a loan. I'm borrowing this money, I will pay you back this amount of money, and according to what you told me, he acknowledges, yeah, I'll give you some money when I have it. That's as vague as, you have to help me out with my bills when they start to come in. And he says, sure, I'll help you out. Okay, now I'm going to come to you, Mr. Bowen.
Yes, ma'am.
It seems from reading these text messages that you acknowledge that you owe her money.
Yes, ma'am.
You acknowledge that in these text messages.
Okay.
Because you don't say, I don't owe you anything. You say, I have a big bill coming in. You know, I'm sorry. I'll try to get some to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you acknowledge that you owe her money.
Yeah, I guess, yes, Your Honor.
Yes, well, that's what this says. It's not specific, but you acknowledge you owe her money. What do you owe her money for?
Well, I guess.
Not a well. Not a well. A well is not an answer.
All right.
What did you owe her money for? Don't look at the sky. I want you to think and focus. Look at me, and that requires I owed her for lamb chops she bought. I owed her for a plumber she paid for. Or I owed her for a...
Lawyer fee.
Perfect. Perfect. And the lawyer fee was how much?
$2,000.
Perfect. And how much of that $2,000 did you give her back?
I've maybe given her $100.
Just a second. Did he give you any money back?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it does indicate that he did, in fact, give you some money back.
Yes.
How much did he give you back?
About what he says, $100.
Okay, so you still owe her $1,900. There you go. How great. So even though you didn't have a perfect contract?
I know for the future.
Right. Now we have a counterclaim.
Yes, ma'am.
And the counterclaim is that you were very annoyed with him, which is very ridiculous, Ms. Perez. I understand from reading your papers, and I'm trying to read between the lines, and, you know, you develop a certain amount of wisdom when you get older. He had you at the house for 2 months. Your kids were away for the summer. He has these 2 little kids, right? And he was using you as a babysitter.
Yes.
And you felt used.
I know. I got very attached to him.
To whom?
To
the children or him?
The kids.
So according to your answer and your counterclaim, Mr. Bowen, you were involved in an altercation at work.
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you work?
I worked at Love's.
What is that?
It's a truck stop, and it just services pretty much the big rigs on the road.
Okay. And an incident occurred while you were working.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the date of the incident? Because I'm going to see the video.
September 18th.
Of
2022.
Tell me what happened.
I'm a cashier, and, you know, after doing it for so long, just so you pick things up, you see people coming in and you know they're up to no good. I have my eyes on this one character, and sure enough, he grabs like a $400 party speaker and a bunch of other little electronic stuffs, and he's walking out the store, and I'm trying to get my coworkers' attention who were sitting there talking like, hey, stop him, stop him, stop him, he's stealing. And then nobody like pays attention, and he walks outside, and that's kind of where it started. Is I said, hey, give that stuff back, and I swatted the speaker out of his hand, and that's when he came at me and he attacked me, and I was defending myself. He had a knife, like once you go and you'll see it, like he had like an 8-inch knife.
Now what I need is from you proof that she sent that video, and
Deputy got him fired after sharing a fight video with his job.
Okay, so you were working and trying to prevent a thief from leaving the area with property that you were responsible for.
Correct.
Okay, well that sounds perfectly reasonable unless you're living in some ridiculous community that says, oh, you got to let everybody steal. And we don't stop shoplifters because, you know, that's not the American way. Okay, so you were protecting property that was your responsibility because you were at the store.
Correct.
How long had you been working at the store?
I worked the store up until I got let go for a year and a half.
Okay, now I'm going to see the video.
Okay. And just for context, like it starts after I swatted the big old box out of his hand.
Is this the video that you allege that the plaintiff sent to your employer
Yes,
and
Both
to
of
the
them.
mother of your children?
2 of them, yes, ma'am.
To 2 of the mothers of your children in order to assist them in their
In their ex
custody,
parte orders, yes.
in their ex parte application.
Yes.
I have evidence on that too. That
I
he
want to tell you
asked the
something.
baby mom to lie in court today, and that's why she wouldn't come.
I have to tell you something.
Okay.
I don't understand why you would get involved in that anyway.
I didn't.
Okay, so you never sent this
He
video.
sent me the video, but I did not send it to corporate.
You didn't send it to anybody, is my
No.
question. You didn't send it to.
He sent it to tons of people.
I'm asking you whether you ever sent it to his place of business.
No.
Did you ever send it to either of the people who were the mother of his children?
No, I only know one of them.
And you didn't send it?
No.
Okay, so I'll look at the video, then you'll tell me what proof you have that she sent it. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, take a look.
Back up.
Was that you?
My adrenaline was pumping, Your Honor. I apologize.
What were you yelling
At
at?
the camera, just at the camera, yeah.
Why were you yelling at the camera?
I turned around and seen it. I didn't even know that the guy was recording it.
Which guy?
There's a random trucker. It's a random trucker.
Who was recording it for what reason? I don't know. You don't know.
I don't know. He just.
Well, how did you get the recording?
He sent it to one of the guys that used to work there as well. Then I got it from him.
You sent it to one of the guys that used to work.
Yeah,
at
that's on the
truck
video.
stop.
I'm not going to say his name, but he's in the video right there.
Okay, so one of your coworkers.
Yes, ma'am.
And this guy who was there, the thief.
Yes.
Was clearly high on something.
Yes. And then, like, if you back it up, you can.
Okay.
There's a smidgen where you see the
I
knife.
get the picture. Please, I get the picture. Now, what I need is from you proof that she sent that video for whatever reason to your employer, and I need proof that the reason you were fired from your job was because of that video. Because me, I would give you a gold star and make you employee of the month. I would, if I owned the truck stop. So you understand what you have to prove to me?
Yes.
That she sent the video to your employer, and your employer fired you because of the video.
Okay, so my proof on both, my witness was supposed to be here.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah,
I was
right.
supposed to be 5'8", but I had a short
Right,
arm.
right, I understand that. But the witness that came with me, she bailed just like on everything else, so I don't have any proof of it. It was
So just
her-
a sec. So the answer is you don't have any proof
Correct.
of that. Okay, well that's easy. And what proof do you have that she sent that clip of a video or gave it to one of the mothers of your children
Yes.
in order to assist them in their custody dispute, which is not illegal, but would be nasty?
I don't.
So you don't?
Don't yet.
Well, your counterclaim then is dismissed. You understand that?
Yeah.
And you owe her $1,900.
Okay.
Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
It was a gift while we were together, but as soon as we broke up, it was, oh, now I need my money.
I've asked him for my money, and he refused to give me it.
If you got the right person to make the team, it's good. But if you don't, and it's not a solid connection, it's not worth it.
I'm a single mom. I don't have money just to hand out like that.
Documents, get proof of everything. That's all I can say.
So it's a new phenomenon, this sort of phones first approach to everything.
Oh, you mean
Phones eat first, phones watch the fight first, phones catch everything first. I think how the defendant put it, a random trucker just saw a fight break out, and first instinct is just catch your phone out and take a video. And we've seen it in New York City on the subways. We see too many times people taking video and no one is helping do anything. So I felt bad for the defendant. As you said, you would have given him a gold star for what he did if you owned the truck stop. Opinions differ on that.
Sarah, I'm still confused. If the owner of a business says, I don't want you to confront thieves because I don't want you to put your life at risk, and that's the reason. But if they're saying, I don't want you to confront thieves because I'm afraid that they're going to be picketing outside my stores because we confronted a thief and stopped a thief, that's a whole different thing. And I am still not able to follow that mindset. I read something this week that in a very famous, huge chain, 2 employees followed the rules. They did not try to stop the thief who was walking out with hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise, but called the police. And the police stopped them, got them, and the 2 employees were fired. I used to say, when I worked in family court, that the first time a kid gets arrested, there has to be a consequence. You don't imprison a kid for 5 years if they've stolen a bicycle. But there has to be some consequence, just as you do with your own children. You tell them to come in at 10, they come in at 11:30, there has to be a consequence. If you don't, they think as parents, you're full of baloney and there are no rules. Well, that's what's happening here when you think it's okay to go into a store and steal with impunity. I don't understand that. I feel as if I'm living in some alternative universe. Okay, got it out of my system. Thank you.
Of course.
Are you having a family dispute? Go to judyjustice.com.
You loaned him money. He didn't pay you back.
We were sending money back and forth to each other.
Then you kept dating him and giving him more money.
I was vulnerable.
I would say we both were vulnerable.
And you're also, a little bit of a con guy.
Doing lashes since 2008.
You've been doing what?
Lashes.
Lashes.
Beautician, yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
Since 2018.
Okay. Mr. Quinones was a short-term boyfriend.
We were never together. We were dating.
You were dating?
Dating.
Dating sufficiently that he asked you for, according to you, some money for an investment that he wanted to make. According to you, he asked you for a loan. And that loan was for $10,000.
Correct.
In what month and year did he ask you for this loan?
August 2021.
And how long had you known him in August of 2021?
About a month.
You know that doesn't sound terribly intelligent to me. And you look like a very intelligent
It wasn't very
person. Okay, so you knew him for a month. He asked you for $10,000. And he told you it was for a business that he was thinking about going into. And that business was buying and then reselling cars.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. And according to you, you gave him the $10,000 and he was supposed to pay you back. He never did. Now he's not your boyfriend anymore. You want the money back. Where did you get the money from to give him?
I just saved it.
You have proof of that?
Yeah.
Miss Dooley, I'm not invested in your story so far. You understand that?
Yes.
Because if he asked you for an investment in August of 2021, that's what you said.
Yes.
And he asked you, according to you and according to his answer, $10,000, right?
Well,
according to you, according to his answer, she sent me $10,000, and he acknowledges that. He acknowledges that you sent him $10,000. You know who doesn't acknowledge that? Wow. I do not acknowledge that. Now, in August of 2021, you sent him $3,605. Do you know that I don't believe that that was $10,000 for a bunch of cars and investment? Then you didn't send him money again, according to this. You sent him $200 the end of October. Then you sent him another $200. Then you sent him $100. Then you sent him $2,500, and it says in that for car. Not the other. It says in that one, for car. That was, oh my God, it looks like it was sometime in October, although I don't have dates on this one. Now, if you're going to try to convince me that this was a $10,000 loan that you made to him, you're going to have to show me contemporaneously with this August 2021 some communication with him. Okay?
Okay.
This is August 11th. Where's my moolah? Would that be you?
I sent that.
August of what year?
21.
August 11th of 2021, you say, where's my money? What are you talking about?
The $5,000 that he promised for the car when he sold the car. He was going to give me $15,000 back.
You hadn't given him that money in August of 2020.
I did. It just doesn't say the dates.
No, this doesn't say anything about $10,000, madam.
They're broken up. That's why.
I understand it's broken up, but it's broken up in October.
No, that's on top of the 10,000.
What? Well, just show me the 10,000.
Well, it's broken up, so I highlighted it.
You have $2,500, but it's listed under October dates. I don't understand this 3605. What was $3,605 for, Mr. Quinones? Do you remember?
I don't remember that number. No, Your Honor. I don't remember what it was used for.
She sent you other monies over a period of time, $200, $100, $200. What was that for?
The smaller amounts, Your Honor, those were probably just when we were dating and we were sending money back and forth to each other.
Well, show me that you were sending her money.
No, he was just always asking for money.
Well, why were you giving it to him?
Because I felt bad because he was broke and he said he couldn't buy his daughter Christmas presents.
So what?
In October.
I'm a giver.
Well, then what are you coming to court for?
To get my loan back that he said he was going to pay me back.
Really? He said he was...
The little amounts are nothing. That's nothing to me.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah.
You understand that I am actually getting you. However, you loaned him money, according to you, in August of 2021. He didn't pay you back. You asked him for money because you said he sold a car, right? And he never sent it to you, right?
Yes.
And after that, you sent him more money.
Yeah.
And kept sending him money for months. So each time you sent him more money, he never made one payment on this alleged loan.
Because he's a narcissist and he love-bombed me.
He what?
Love-bombed me.
What is that?
It's a term that narcissists do and they pretend that they're somebody else, like making promises.
Well, that's an old story, but that's not a court case. If you give him money and he says, this is for this, when I sell a car, I'll give it back to you. That's great. And then he sells a car, he doesn't give you any money, and then you give him more money. And he still doesn't give you any money, and he needs more money. So you send him more money. At some point, you have to say to yourself, this is not a loan anymore, this is my own stupidity.
She says I keep secrets or I'm a liar. I honestly know I'm not a liar. Maybe a bad businessman, but
You're
not
a bad
liar.
businessman, and you say to yourself, this is not a loan anymore, this is my own stupidity, right?
Yeah, well, he was telling me that he was going to get a check coming in the mail. He sent me like screenshots. He was on the phone with some people that owed him a check that he sent me that they were going to give it to him.
Mr. Quinones, what were you supposed to do with this money?
I was supposed to purchase vehicles to flip them and earn money on them.
Is that what you told her?
Yes, ma'am.
I see that you have a paucity of evidence in front of you, which means very little evidence in front of you. How many cars did you buy?
I bought 2, Your Honor.
When?
In August of that year.
Okay. And how much did you pay for them?
Altogether, it was $9,500 that came out to you in total.
And how much did you sell them for?
I actually lost money on them, Your Honor. So I actually ended up getting back about $8,000.
And how much did you put in, sir, of your money into the $9,000 that you spent on the 2 cars?
Nothing into the $9,000?
Fine. So you put nothing into the 9, and you got back 8.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that 8 was her money.
Yes, Your Honor. And
so that 8,000 was her money. Your investment was losing, but so far you're ahead of the game, $8,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right?
Yes.
So far you got $8,000 in your pocket. You put in zippity doodah.
Yes, ma'am.
And keep going.
The next time around.
What do you mean the next time around?
So I told her I was going to purchase more vehicles.
Yeah, and
I actually put some of my own money in at that time as well. So I put back in another $2,000.
Just a second. And how much did you spend for those cars?
It came out to $10,000 altogether.
$10,000 altogether.
Altogether.
Okay. And of that $10,000, $8,000 was hers.
Yes.
And what'd you do with those cars?
I sold those vehicles, Your Honor.
And how much did you sell them for?
Altogether, both cars came out to about $7,500. So I lost money on.
So you're a lousy businessman, sir.
I was at selling cars.
You were a miserable businessman at first, and according to you, your track record is consistently miserable.
Yes, Your Honor. That's why I got out of that and stopped selling cars.
Okay. Let's say I believe you. Is that what you told her? You ended up losing money on both things?
Yes.
Because that's what you said.
Yes,
you said it was an investment, not a loan. But we didn't make money.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right? But so far, if I take your figures, you had $8,000 of her money.
Yes, Your Honor.
You put in $2,000 of your own money and then bought cars for $10,000, sold those cars for $7,500. So best case scenario, if you take back your $2,000 investment, you still have $5,000 of her money.
Yes, Your Honor. And this was never an issue because, like Rebecca said, we were supposedly just dating, but it was an actual relationship we were in. And we actually started getting closer. I had a job on the side as well, but during that time, I was on family leave because I ended up having kidney stones. So I was in the hospital a lot. And I was letting her know, like, hey, I'm trying, but it's not working right now. And I ended up losing money on our investments.
You lost money, but you ended up with money in your pocket.
Yes,
Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If she got back all the money she put in as an investment and you were out $2,000, and I don't believe you actually put in $2,000. You have any proof that you put in $2,000?
I don't have that bank account anymore, Your Honor. And
you don't have that bank account. I don't have that cell phone that got erased.
She says I keep secrets or I'm a liar. I honestly know I'm not a liar. Maybe a bad businessman, but
you're
not a liar.
You're a bad businessman, and you're also, a little bit of a con guy. Mm-hmm. You're also a little bit of a con guy. Because if you have a girlfriend and you say, listen, I want to do something for an investment, and you try it out and it doesn't work out and you have losses, and so far you don't have any losses, she has losses.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Miss Dooley, you know what that sounds like to me? It sounds as if you made an investment, not a loan. And you were hoping for two things. You were hoping you could keep him, although I don't know why. You were hoping you could keep him, but you were also going to make money. But then he didn't sell the cars for what he said he was going to sell the cars for. You kept giving him money. Now, you can't, even if it was an investment, you can't keep her money.
Yes.
If you lost money on the cars, did he ultimately tell you he lost money on the cars?
No, he said that he sold the cars.
Did he tell you for how much?
No, he just said the car's already sold. So that's why I was waiting for my money. That's why I said, where's my money?
Yeah, but then you kept dating him and giving him more money.
Yeah.
Okay. If I believe you, bought the cars, sold the cars, you lost money, but you still ended up with cash in your pocket.
Yes, Your Honor.
How much?
It was about $7,500.
That's what it was, according to the math.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judgment for the plaintiff, $7,500. Even if it was an investment, she's entitled to it if you lost money. She's entitled to her money back.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're a smart lady. You're a business person. You work hard,
I know. The love on me. I was vulnerable.
I would say we both were vulnerable.
Yeah, but you were vulnerable. You got richer.
I understand that, Your Honor. I understand where you're coming from, what you're saying. But that money, at the end of the day, we were together. I found out she was actually married at the time or had her husband at the time. She ended up leaving her husband for me.
And?
We ended up not together. The money thing wasn't an issue the whole time we were together. The money thing wasn't an issue.
I understand, but you said to me, sir.
No, yes, Your Honor.
You said to me in your answer that this was a business investment. She says it was a loan. I don't believe that. I don't buy it. And ordinarily, I would just say goodbye, your case is dismissed. But I think she did give you money, and I think you did use it to buy cars. I think you actually were together. But you ended up making a profit. She had the loss. And that's unfair in a business relationship, if that's what you say it was. $7,500. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished.
This court is adjourned.
I understand where the judge is coming from and saying that I owe her that money.
Yeah, I just ended up falling for it because I was in a vulnerable state.
I didn't agree with me being a con man.
The truth is he's a liar, and he's a narcissist, and he's a scammer and con artist.
For the 7-8 months we were together, there was no issues, and it wasn't until we broke up that all of a sudden there's an issue.
So I got mixed up with the wrong person.
I've been here a while now, and we've seen this scenario over and over. I don't think I've seen a single successful investment loan from a woman to a man where it worked out positively for the woman.
As she said, and we were talking back here, you were trying to explain to me the term love
bombing.
Love bombing. Do it one more time.
From what I understand, I'm not an expert on the matter, but it's when your partner shows you affection or gifts or trips.
You mean a new partner?
No, a very new partner. And there's some psychological explanation as to why it has the other person completely off guard and fully trusting of that person who's doing that. And then they slowly start to retract that love and affection, leaving the other person sort of...
with a lighter bank account.
Yes.
Well, that's what she said happened to her.
Case number 3007, Lacey versus Mail. All parties, please step forward.
Courtney Lacey is suing her former friend, Marcus Mail, for business products, lost wages, and harassment.
Right, Ms. Lacey, there's a whole story here that really doesn't necessarily impact on the bare bones facts of this case. The bare bones facts are you met the defendant on TikTok.
Correct.
And you were in the beard business, that is, you made products for men, for their beard.
Yes, ma'am.
I assume that jar. Defendant traveled to where you live, from what state to what state?
Connecticut to Ohio.
In order to help you at a fair to sell your product.
Yes, ma'am.
When? What month and year?
My event date was April 1st of 2023, and he did come in 2 days.
So around April of 2023 is when you went to the fair, and there was a fair. I don't know whether you sold products or not, but you went with her.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there a business arrangement? Were you supposed to get any financial remuneration, or were you just meeting this person in the flesh that you had met on TikTok?
Nothing was talked about. We just showed up and winged it.
Okay. And then whatever happened, you were leaving and going back to Connecticut.
Yeah.
And when you left, you took some product with you.
I was given the product.
But you took some with you.
Yes.
I didn't say you stole it. You took some product in your car,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes.
Tell me what you took in your car.
It was a couple of cases. I believe what she said was 78 jars of a product.
78 jars of her product.
Mm-hmm.
How many had you sold at the fair?
I sold about 3 at the vendor's event.
You sold 3?
Yes.
I also donated $40.
I don't care. 78 jars is what you took home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what is the retail cost of these 78 jars?
$25 a jar.
And what is your cost? You're in business to make that jar. What is the jar and the product? How much does it cost?
With everything put together, it cost me roughly around $6, $7. Just depends on what scent I'm using.
So say it costs you $6 a jar. That would be $468. Okay, you're suing for $3,600, so that's ridiculous. So he took this product, and at some point, you wanted it back.
Yes.
So when did you tell him you wanted it back?
When I seen that he was bashing me on social media once he left, I wasn't aware that he felt some type of way. I asked
Just tell me what date it was that you wanted it back.
It would have been April 3rd.
And did he tell you that he would send it back if you paid for it?
He did several times.
He did several times say, I'll send it back if you send me.
Yes.
And did you?
He said that he was going to go to the UPS store and overnight it. I told him I did not have overnight money. Then he told me he was going to throw my product away, that he wasn't going to mess with it.
And that was in April. What'd you do with the product, Mr. Mayo?
I held on.
No, it's April. That's not a long time ago. How long did you hold on to it?
I held on to it for a week. The following Monday, I'd heard nothing from her. She blocked me on everything. I said I gave her 2 days to give me a call, let me know what's going on.
Do you have that in messages?
Every message between us that whole morning is right here.
By the way, what were you going to do with these 78 jars?
She wanted me to sell them for her and give her the money. I was under the understanding.
Did you say to him, throw it away, I'll report it as stolen property?
After the numerous threats
Just a second.
telling me.
Did you say that to him?
Yes.
Okay, so sounds that to me, and I've read the papers, and the text messages between you seem to support the idea that he came for a few days, you rented a car.
I rented the Tesla.
How much was the Tesla to rent?
Rented me about $1,400. I have the actual.
Okay, no, I'm not entertaining your counterclaim, sir. Your counterclaim's nonsense. But he rented a car to come to help you. You hadn't actually met him before.
Right.
And when he came, your children were someplace else for the event, for the weekend, or you thought for a few days, and he was going to stay with you on your sofa. That's what you said.
Only for the event.
Well, he wouldn't have driven, I don't know how many states away, and rented a car to come for 1 day. That sounds ridiculous. And you actually acknowledged that you weren't expecting your children to come home, but your children were coming home, and you felt uncomfortable about him being in the house when your children were home, so you asked him to leave. That you acknowledge.
Right.
Okay. And so he left. I don't know whether he left during the course of an argument, but somehow he took these jars of product worth $460, and he didn't take them without your permission. He took them with your permission.
Well, we had an agreement.
That was?
That he was going to take some back. He had some barber friends and friends that was interested in buying.
Right.
And he asked if he could have a box of each scent.
Okay. And he took 78 boxes back, which are worth $468. That's your cost.
That's the price it cost for me to.
Yeah, he's not paying you. He's not paying you for what you retail it for. You had a disagreement. He offered to send it back if you paid for it. He held on to it for a week. Should he have held on to it longer? I don't know. That is a sort of subjective thing. I can't say you should hold on to it for a month. You should have sent it to her COD if she didn't want to pick it up. She didn't have to pick it up, but I don't know where you send things COD anymore. I don't think that they do that anymore. Anyway, your whole loss is maybe $400 in product and jar.
But he took the jars to sell them for me to his friends.
I don't care. I don't care. Seems to me that you both made some bad choices. It wasn't explained to him, and I don't know what he was thinking. Well, do I want to know what he was thinking? You know, to drive for a day and a half to come to your house, not knowing who you are. He went to the event. He was helpful at the event, and then you told him that you had to leave, go to a hotel. That's what you said.
We didn't talk about the plans after the event. That's where
then you should have.
Came.
Actually, you should have.
Right, and I took accountability for that.
$468. You threw her product away. There were other things that you could have done with it. You sure you threw it away?
I did.
You did? Why? You couldn't use it? You didn't like it for your beard?
It meant nothing to me after that. I was just looking at it, made me mad.
Okay, good. $468. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
No, I held on to it for as long as I could. I tried to be reasonable for as long as I could.
The beard whip is my passion, and to know that somebody can just take it and throw it away.
And it got to a point where she was unreasonable, so I discarded the product.
He took my jars, and he said, well, I have friends back at home that's willing to buy because they want to try it in their barbershops.
He clearly was not going to pay to have it mailed back.
He was just a friend I met on TikTok that I thought was my friend, but obviously he had other intentions.
Immediate red flag all women should look out for. If you don't know a guy's middle and last name, he should not be driving states, flying states, going to an airport, going on vacation. If you just met someone, if the only way that you are able to contact someone is through social media because you don't have their phone number, they should not be coming to your house.
That's true. Yeah.
So, immediate red flag.
But I don't understand him either. You know, there's another universe there.
I'm sure there had to be some underpinnings of promises or whatever from her end because he didn't seem like a stupid guy. He doesn't seem like someone that just has nothing to do.
He rented a Tesla and drove a day and a half to get there just to help her with the fare.
Exactly.
Yeah, give me a break.
Yes, ma'am. He said, you guys are cheap.
Là cả với nhau đấy.